Hi, my name is Michael G, and now have another video for you. Today we are going to be talking about becoming the embodiment of truth. That's a big deal. A couple of things before we start is these videos that I'm making are not to be watched only once. And the reason why is that as the truth comes into you, as you start speaking truth more, then you will find that the videos will have a new light in them as you read them, as you watch them. Same thing is parallel, and not parallel, but actually that's how the Bible is. The Bible is the more you read it, as you come to truth, more truth will come to you. It's like being in darkness and then you have a light, and you have the light at so many lumens, and then you add more brightness to the light, you'll see more and more and more. The light can get so bright that you can see through walls at one point, and that's what we're talking about. So how do we become the embodiment of truth? Well, that's the problem, because the people that are not going to get this, are not going to see this, they can't become something that is not already inside them. Okay? So, you have to have truth inside you first. Once you have the truth inside you first, then it's a matter of knowing the truth is inside you and being freed from lies. The first thing that happened in the Garden of Eden was let light be. First words. God Elohim had said that. The fall in the garden was when the serpent got Adam and Eve to believe and reproduce the first lie. That is the separation between God and man. The separation is the lie. Lies is what separates us from God. Now, someone might say to me, oh yeah, how can that be? Well, let's look at the first words that Adam said upon the fall, Genesis 3:10. And he saith, thy sound I have heard in the garden. So Adam heard the sound of God, and I am afraid, for I am naked, and I hide myself. This one sentence has the word I 4 times. 4 times in one sentence the word I is used. So, in 2 of those times it's I am. I am is identity and state of being. So what's the identity and state of being? He's naked and fear. Fear and nakedness. And one of the things that in my last video was a big deal is that fear produces will. Fear. So you make decisions based on fear, and you might lie, and then you're changing somebody else's reality. The first thing that happened in the Garden of Eden is they reproduced the lie. That's what Adam and Eve had done. They have identity of I without God. Now, when we have this identity of I without God, it's a self-perpetuating problem, because this I now we see the world through I. When you meet people that have a huge ego, they can't make a statement, a sentence, without using this excessively. They might say this so many times, and you can see this in writing, you can see this in your exchange with them, and it's as if that they are elevating themselves all the time in their language. They're always elevating themselves. They're elevating their I, higher and higher and higher. And to be in the truth, we understand that we have God, a witness inside us. So everything that we do has to be in light of the truth. Everything that we do has to be in light of the truth. Because as we speak more the truth, then the light shines more so that we could see better and clearer. The more that we focus on lies, enabling, psychopathy, all those things, the more we are going to be disconnected from God, and we will not like the outcome. So becoming the embodiment of truth is you have to have the truth inside you first and water it. And how do you water the truth? The Lord's Prayer. It's actually to bring the reign of God on earth. Reign of God is the reign of truth. You could see this in your family. If you are of the truth, if you are really of the truth, then you are placed in an environment where weeds are all around you. And they are looking at you and forcing you to lie. It's as if the devil knows that you're a potential truth and is trying to bury you so that you cannot come forth. You cannot come forth because you're being buried by all the liars around you. And that's a mess. So what happens as we get closer to the truth? Well, we have a very visual story of this in the Bible too, with Lazarus. And Lazarus had died for 3 days, and Jesus came. And when Jesus came, this is what Jesus said. We are in John 11:43. And these things saying with a loud voice, he cried out, Lazarus, come forth. And he who died came forth, being bound feet and hands with grave's clothes, and his visage or face with a napkin was bound about. Jesus saith to them, loose him and suffer to go. In ourselves, Lazarus is the truth. And when God says, Lazarus, come forth, then you're going to come out of death and be in the light of the truth. You're going to have graves closed on you. You're going to have everything pulling you back down. You're going to have family shaming you because you're telling the truth. Because they want to keep And here's the crazy thing about this. This is really crazy. You know, in these videos, you're always seeing science tied into this because God is God of everything. There's a truth of everything. So, what happens if there's darkness everywhere? If you have full darkness, you can't see. You can't see. You become probability. Yeah. There's no light in probability. When there's light shining onto a quantum whatever, then you know where the electron is. But if everything is darkness, you have no orientation, you stumble, you can't see, and you are going to be manipulated by the people that are from the darkness. And we know this today because if you look at the tech giants, their whole money making everything has to do with quantum physics. And quantum physics has to do with probability. You don't know where the electron is. That's what operates the computers, the games, everything. Even this computer that you're watching or phone that you're watching this video, it's driven by quantum physics. In this darkness, they are pulling you down further. They have video games that keep you not moving all the time. They are bringing you to death. That's what the world is doing now, exponentially. And lies are also bringing you down. So what happens when Jesus said, Lazarus, come forth? He left death. He came into the light. With the grave's clothes still on him, truth, and he heard the voice of Jesus. Okay, he heard the voice of Jesus and he came forth. Now, here it comes. We're going to go back to Genesis now. We'll go back to Genesis. We'll go back to Genesis 3:10. And I don't know if you caught this already. The difference between Lazarus now and what happened in the garden. Thy sound I have heard in the garden. Adam heard the sound of God. And he said, and I am afraid, and I am naked, and I hide myself. He hid himself. Actually, Adam and Eve, when they were naked, what they did was they sewed together fig leaves. I don't know if you've ever seen a fig leaf, but a fig leaf looks like this. That's what a fig leaf looks like. This is a curse. It's a middle finger. This is also known as fig. If you look this word up, it's going to say the same thing as giving somebody the finger. So Adam and Eve put together fig leaves that covered their reproductive organs. They covered the man's parts and the woman's parts. They made girdles. They're giving God the middle finger because of the serpent. And by the way, this is national Israel. Or fake Israel today. Because they covered themselves with the fig leaves. The fig leaves from the fig tree that had no fruit. That Jesus cursed. We are back in the Garden of Eden. This is what Adam and Eve covered themselves with. As you come out of darkness, Jesus is the truth, the light, and the way. When you're in the truth, the light, and the way, you will obey the command. Lazarus, come forth. So we have to pull ourselves into the light if we have truth inside us. We have to obey the command of light and truth. Now, this is really funny. These people, the people covering themselves with the fig leaves, they want you to keep the law. Well, what about the law of God? You got to keep the law of God. Got to keep the law. The law of God was made for the disobedient. If you are of the truth, okay, here's the plane. Okay, this is earth, heavens. What did Jesus say to the Jews? You are from beneath. Where is Jesus from? Above. If you are from beneath, you have laws. If you're from above, in the heavens, what do you have up there? Light. What is the burden of you who are from above, from the heavens, of Jesus, of the truth, of the light, and the way to God? What is our command? It's different than Hagar's command. And Hagar is the bondwoman, bonded to the law. We are from the free woman, Sarah. Above all, we are to give glory to Jesus, the truth, the light, and the way to God. That's it. All the other things that happen in our life, God will dissolve. You can't use your will to stop the bad behavior in your life. It does not work. I'm going to say this again. You cannot stop the bad behavior in your life. Because if will was the way to stop the bad behavior, then you're going to get the glory. No way. No way. Then you're still from beneath. You see, the Spirit of God is going to be the cleanser. It's going to cleanse us. The Lord's Prayer is for the Spirit of God, the reign of God, the reign of truth. Lead us not into temptation. Don't bring us into the temptation to cause a problem. Deliver us from the evil. What's the evil? Lies. What's the first thing that happened in the Garden of Eden? Reproducing the lie. That's why enabling psychopathy, you're reproducing the lie. Now, we are headed back to the Garden of Eden. And why we're headed back to the Garden of Eden? Because the tree of life is in the Garden of Eden. Tree of life is in... Yeah. Okay. Revelation 22:14. Happy are those doing his commands. Whose commands? That the authority shall be theirs unto the tree of life, and by the gates they may enter into the city. Which city? The city of Jerusalem, coming down from the heavens. Not this place. Not national Israel. By the way, there's a whole bunch of people. There's enormous amounts of so-called Christians that want to build a temple. They want to build a box. They want to build a box. So what did God do? After Jesus was crucified, raised from the dead, 33 years later, God had the Romans come in and the temple was gone. The reason why he waited 33 years is that the lives of those people that crucified Jesus, they're in their old age. They are so filled with lies in their body. They're so filled that now when they see the temple being destroyed, they can't say enough truth to get out. They are done because there are so many of their lies floating out into the world. They can't get out. So God destroyed the temple. The temple is a box. The box is for those who are beneath. They want a box so that they can worship. We are from above. We don't need a box. We don't need to build a temple a box. We are the temple. We are the embodiment of the Holy Spirit. We are the embodiment of truth. That's what Jesus did for us, so that we can be the embodiment of truth. And for us, we have to talk about the light, the truth, and the way to God. This is the difference. Are you from above, or are you from beneath? If you're from above, you will have faith that the truth, the light, and the way will dissolve the grave's clothes that you had as Lazarus. Adam and Eve, he was naked. He was, I am. He was, I am naked. I am afraid. Because he was separated now from God. And he heard the voice of God. You see the parallel? You see the difference? Lazarus came forth when he heard the voice of God. When he heard Jesus say, Lazarus, come forth, he was brought back to life and he came out of the grave. We are in the grave, burdened with lies. And if Lazarus is inside of us, we will come out. Lazarus has to be inside of you. As you come closer to the truth, you will embody the truth, and all your family members, anybody you know, everything changes. Because now, if you are in the truth, you're in the light. Maybe you're a little candle right now. As your flame grows, and you give off more light, the people of darkness have to flee. They have to get further away from you. And this could be the closest people. This could be family. Family could be the ones, the closest people to you will leave you like a hot potato. They will create tension so that they can maintain their eye as your light gets brighter and brighter and brighter. There is no ands, ifs about this. The more you focus on truth and light, because the truth and light is inside you, the more the darkness will flee. They will try to bring you back down. They're going to bring you back down. Judas was next to Jesus and gave him a kiss when he betrayed him. Judas gave him a kiss. Judah betrayed his brother Joseph. It was only when Judah gave his life for his brother that Joseph told him who he was. So, how do you give your life? Truth above all. You have to sacrifice your eye. That's what you have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice the glory of your eye. Adam and Eve, they became scared, afraid, naked, and they heard the voice of God. When you sacrifice your eye, that means you're holding truth above all. When you hold truth above all, you sacrifice your eye. If you do not sacrifice your eye, then you will become Cain, to make your eye visible. You will kill your brother. Your brother is the truth, the light, the way inside you. You can't sacrifice the truth. You sacrifice the truth, you kill the truth, you betray the truth, you become Cain. The words of Peter when he lied when they asked him if he knew Jesus were the same words that Cain said. I don't know the man. What did Cain say about Abel? I don't know. I did not know. My brother's keeper I. Peter was in fear. Peter was in fear. So when he was in fear, he sacrificed the truth to protect himself. And then John, in the book of John, it shows us that Jesus brought him back with the lovest thou me. And what was he supposed to do? Feed my lambs. Feed my lambs. If you love God, you have to feed the lambs. What do you feed the lambs with? Truth. You love somebody, then you have to be truthful with them. You hate somebody, you lie to them. And when you lie to them, you also go to the ditch. Because what does it say in Revelation 22? Happy are those doing his commands, and the authority shall be theirs. 22:14. Unto the tree of the life, and the gates they may enter into the city. And without, the dogs and the sorcerers and the whoremongers and the murderers and the idolaters and everyone who is loving and is doing a lie. In fact, I should just go right there. Revelation. I'm not going to have much time. We're right at the end of Revelation 22:15. And without, the dogs, the sorcerers, and the whoremongers, and the murderers, idolaters, and everyone who is loving and is doing a lie. Loving, you could say narcissist, psychopath. You could say enabler. You could flip those two, but narcissist, psychopath, and enabler. I, Jesus, did send my messenger to testify to you these things concerning the assemblies. What assemblies? To assemble your head into your torso, to be in truth. Concerning the assemblies, I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright, the morning star, and the Spirit and the bride say, come, and he who is hearing, let him come, and he who is thirsting for the truth, let him come, and he who is willing, let him take the water of life freely. For I testify to everyone hearing the words of the prophecy of the scroll. If anyone may add unto these, God shall add to him the plagues that have been written in this scroll. And if anyone may take away from the words of the scroll of this prophecy, God shall take away from his part of the scroll of the life. We're back in the Garden of Eden. We're at the tree of life. The last thing is the tree of life.